if the recording started with that, because I just hit record, it's like that's gonna be the new thing. Tyrus and Nao.
Tyrus&Nao.
It's a podcast!
Okay, probably gonna put the intro in now. All right, oh, Tyrus.
I know.
I like when we're not, because it's a podcast. We can't talk to the viewers, and we got to talk to ourselves. So they don't exist. But Tyrus, I have a story to tell you.
Does
Two
it involve
things.
anything relating to Stephen King?
Not yet, sir. That one goes later. But there's big news in the movie world. Ghostbusters, my friend. Have you heard of this franchise? This
A few
series?
times.
A few times. You ever? Have you ever
It's the
yourself
one starring
been-
Rick Moranis, right? He's the
Yeah.
main guy, and he eats that plant, and it
Something
lets him talk to people in space.
Yes, something just something just sent on Skype, and all of our listeners are like, "What the hell?" Just. Yes, Tyrus. Let me ask you something. Have you ever been to Ghostbuster before?
Yes.
Yes. And you
We did that for, I think, a week.
No, I remember going on for like 3 weeks, right?
Well, yeah. I
The
guess it
viewers
was
think we're doing a
3 weeks.
stupid joke, but no, we were honestly we were actually Ghostbusters in Second Life for like I'm gonna go ahead and say 2 to 3 weeks.
Something like
However many times it took for our headquarters to be returned to us 7 times, I think that was a
probably about
breaking
that long,
point.
yeah. That's about that
Like we
long.
had the big sign, and we had the Ecto one, and we would go in like grocery stores and all that stuff, and just we would shoot the Slimer until it exploded with bones and guts and organs exploding everywhere.
Yeah, but I think we only ever actually did like a ghost thing like twice, and then
Yeah.
that one time where you turned into Godzilla knockoff twin small, dumb brother.
Just walked through the city. God, that city hates us. If you've heard the first episode, you can probably understand why we don't go there anymore. It's like, first he wants to be a murderer, now he's a monster / Ghostbuster, destroying the world.
I did save the city from a flood once. That was quite interesting.
Yeah, and you were a fireman, so it was like you're doing the opposite of your job. So it was good.
Yeah, it was weird.
So yeah, Ghostbusters, a new Ghostbusters movie has been confirmed, and it's not. It's like, let's face it. If they did a Ghostbusters,
Is it being
3,
written by the same guys?
Let me go ahead. And, let's be honest. If it was the same like actors with Bill Murray and all that stuff, and it was a continuation, everybody, including the same people that have been bitching about wanting it for all these years, are going to complain that it wasn't as good as the first one. So instead, what they're doing is they're doing kind of a spin-off twist to it, where I believe that Bill Murray and Dan Aykroyd and Ernie Hudson are probably going to have some role in it. But essentially, there's new Ghostbusters, and they're all girls, and they're
I already
they're
don't
gonna be
care anymore.
trained. But I've seen the people that are being considered for, and they're hilarious people. Like I saw like
Like who?
Tina Fey, Amy
She's
Poehler,
great.
Kristen Wiig, oh god, Emma Stone. Like I'd be so down to watch a movie if those 4 were the Ghostbusters. I'd like so incredibly down because they are hilarious, talented people. And the person who's making it, I forgot his name, but I looked at the stuff that he's done in the past, and he's done some pretty funny things. So I have faith in this.
Like such as what?
Such
You
as
said pretty funny things.
some pretty
Name them.
name them. I will if I could leave Skype, and I can't.
But you just said you looked at them.
I did, but that was a while ago.
Use your smartphone.
Okay, I will look right now. Tyrus, fill the air while I'm typing on my extremely slow phone.
That's true. Your phone is pretty slow. My opinion in it is, sure. If they do a good job with it, they do a good job with it. But I'm still going to remain skeptical because the first 2 were both written by Dan Aykroyd and Bill Murray,
What?
or at least Dan Aykroyd and someone else. They were actors in it, and they helped write it.
Didn't oh my
It wasn't Bill Murray. It was Dan Aykroyd and the other guy.
Yeah, I was trying to think. What the hell is his name again? Harold Ramis. There you go. He was the director, and the writers were Dan Aykroyd and Harold Ramis, and others.
Yeah, and so if they're not involved
Dan
in like the
Aykroyd is
writing process, it's not going to feel the same.
Yeah, Dan Aykroyd is definitely going to be involved. Harold Ramis being absent is the only thing that causes me skeptical about it, because I love Harold Ramis' stuff, Caddyshack, and
Haven't seen that.
that other one that he's done many things that I'm just having a brain fart right now. Like, some of my favorite movies of all time are Harold Ramis movies, and I am so ashamed that I'm forgetting them. And
It's not your job right now, right? Your job is to figure out who's making Ghostbusters and what they've done, so I can actually
Paul
understand.
Feig.
Who?
Paul Feig. That is a weird name. He directed Bridesmaids, which I know you haven't seen, but I love that movie. I adore that. I thought it was going to be a chick flick, and I was very wrong. It was great. So he directed Bridesmaids. He also
Okay.
directed The Heat, which was another great movie. He directed Nurse Jackie, Parks and Recreation, oh my gosh, 30 Rock, just one episode, Mad Men, 3 episodes of Weeds, Arrested Development, I Am David, Undeclared. So,
You
every
still
one of
haven't named
these
anything
things,
I've seen.
well, okay, but everything that I recognize and I've seen that he's done, I adore. So, I am 1,000% excited for this. I'm not gonna go in there making the mistake is holding it up to the like, let's see if this is as good as the old one, because no matter what they do, they
I
can't,
just don't
because
understand
it's
why they're
just
doing it now.
as opposed to later.
No, when they did it back, why did they didn't do it years ago?
Well, I don't
I
know.
don't understand
Bill
the
Murray
process
kept
behind
saying
this.
no. That's what I heard. They've been wanting to do a 3 for a very long time, but Bill was just like, I don't want to do it.
But now can they even call it 3?
No, I think they're just gonna call it Ghostbusters something. If they call it 3, then I mean,
That's a bit of a stretch because 3
yeah.
continuation of the characters, and if they're not even really in it.
Exactly.
Uh,
They're gonna train them. That's one thing that I heard. That's a rumor
also, I
that
mean,
I
didn't
heard.
Bill Murray die in Zombieland? So he can't be in it.
That is now canon. that is why Bill Murray hides in his basement, and he doesn't want to be touched, or just, well, not touched, but he doesn't want to be seen by anybody. He's just like, I can't let them know it didn't actually happen. The apocalypse didn't
That was
actually
like
come
his
here.
most recent high-paying role was just Zombieland.
Mhm. I love that line. They're like, "What's your biggest regret?" Garfield. Um. Okay,
He did
so it is.
okay. I wish they could have had just the original guy from the TV show do Garfield and those.
Yeah.
The Garfield cartoon was one of my favorites, at least
I
as a kid.
remember being in school suspension for beating a kid with my shoe, and it's okay.
What?
He sprained my arm. I'll go to that story later, but
No, you can't go to the later. You have to explain why this is related to Garfield's original voice actor and Bill Murray.
fine. I'll tell the story from the beginning. Okay, so. So you get a little sad at first, but then it's gonna go to hilarious. I was a bit of a chubby kid, in middle school.
Well, yes.
And there was this kid that always made fun of me for it, and he was kind of like the stereotypical bully. He wouldn't take my lunch money or whatever, because I think even he thought that acting like that was stupid. But I went in and he called me fat, which was kind of, if you saw the guy back then, it's a little bit hypocritical. And I pointed that out to him, and then he pushed me up against the wall, and it sprained my arm. And and this was like in PE, and my PE coach was just not paying attention, I guess.
They
So
never do.
instead of tattling on him, I went. I just was gonna go sit back on my little number, where you have to sit crisscross applesauce before anything starts. And so I go over there, and I'm holding my arm, and this kid, I think his name was Miguel or something like that. He would always make fun of me for the fact that I was half black, and at that point I would say shit like "yo" and talk about rap, and he didn't like it because and I already told the
Was
story.
he black?
I think no, he was Hispanic.
What? Where?
Um,
Where does he have room for?
I don't know. I'm not getting into this, but I go
And
down
he
and
didn't
he
like the
sits
fact that you
down
look slightly Hispanic
and
when you're not.
he says yeah,
Weird.
I sit down and he looks at me like, nigga, you just got knocked the beep out. And at that point, I've had so much that I was wrong. I didn't sit down yet. I was still walking towards him whenever he said that. I took off my shoe and
Yeah,
I
I'm impressed that
threw
you
it at
took off
him.
your shoe.
Yeah, I
Well, there you
threw
go.
it at him and it hit him square on the cheek, which made me feel really, really good because that was perfect aim. And he smacks his hand on the ground like a judge with a gavel and points to me and goes, "I'm telling." And he gets up and
How old were you guys?
we were like 12.
And
12 or
he said,
13
"I'm
or so.
telling," as a
Yeah.
12-year-old.
So I take off the other shoe. This one's in the hand, and I smack him with it, like with a hook. And he goes down, and now the gym teacher's paying attention. You know, earlier he doesn't give a shit, but right now that's the
Now,
time.
when you're,
Yeah,
being the instigator
exactly.
or the
So I
assailant.
get, he gets suspended because I played it up a bit on, because I mean I had a right to. You
Well,
know,
he called you the N-word.
exactly, and I had a
That's not a
and
good
I had
thing at all.
yeah, and I had a splint because my arm was sprained because of the big asshole that hit me before the little asshole started being mean.
Did the
So
big asshole get in trouble too?
no,
Oh, for
I
fuck.
don't think so. Because they didn't like see it happen or whatever. I think they gave him a good talking to. Um,
Did they
but
tell him he was a horribly fat child?
I hope so. Um, but there's nothing wrong with obesity, kids, as long as you're not a dick. So
No, no,
there's
no,
the.
no, no, no. It's good. It's good to try and be healthy, buddy.
It is.
Don't
It
just
is.
tell
It.
everybody. Go ahead, go out there.
No, I'm not
Be as
saying that.
fat as you
I'm
want.
just saying if there's like.
I keep losing and regaining the same 30 pounds for the last 4 years,
Yeah,
so
I
it
mean,
can be quite
yeah,
confusing.
at least like yeah, but I don't want people to think like I'm overweight. That's it. I'm over. Like there's always you can always lose the weight if you want to lose the weight, and for whatever reason, if you don't, that doesn't mean you're a horrible, terrible person. Anyways, after that, the more you know marathon, relay all the way how this links to Garfield.
Yeah,
I got issued ISS, which means I'm basically suspended without the
but you're in
pleasure of
school.
having
I
to
know what
be in
ISS
home.
is.
I know, I'm just explaining to the people. Um, so the ISS was actually one of some of the funnest days I remember because it was very quiet and the teacher I swear either had a smoking bladder or drug problem because he had to leave the room every like 10 minutes for like 20 minutes. So it was very Breakfast Clubby to where like at the
It
beginning,
was the Breakfast Club. That's awesome.
like at the beginning few times whenever they leave, they're still kind of quiet. And then there's like one guy that would start talking to everyone, and they're just like still like, no, I don't want to get in trouble, whatever. So there was like small conversations that would go on every now and then. But whenever he came back, I was bored and I needed something to read, and I went over and I looked and I saw the Big Book of Garfield. Like I forgot the name of it. Maybe it was called the
It was
Big
just
Book
one
of
of the fat
Garfield.
packs. They
Yeah,
called it
yeah,
fat
Garfield's
packs.
Fat Pack.
Well, no, they've
And
had a lot of those.
there was
I know
one.
what you're talking about.
And I read a few and it made me chuckle. And like I chuckled so loud that like I got a few people looking and I was just like, okay, maybe I shouldn't read this, but I was like, no, I got to keep going because this was like the first time I actually like fully read Garfield. I saw it in the Sunday paper every now and then. Because growing up, whenever I went to my grandma's house, my grandpa would always get the papers, and then he'd leave the colored cartoon
You leave
funny
the
papers.
funnies.
Yeah, for me. And so I always loved it. And the Peanuts were like my favorite one on the newspapers. But this was like pure concentrated Garfield. So I was having a blast reading them. And this one panel, and I remember exactly what happened in the comic, made me. Well, let me just explain what happened to it first. It was like 4 or 5 panels, and Garfield is chasing Odie, and Odie runs outside. Garfield follows him, and then they run around outside, and then Odie comes inside. Dan, is that his name? The owner?
John.
John shuts the glass screen door, and Garfield just smacks right into it, and I
Oh, yeah.
laughed so hard that I had to get the book taken away from me. And the rest of that day was sad, but the next day I got to read it again. I just had to keep it under control. But the reason why that made me laugh so hard was because my dog did that after Hurricane. I want to say Katrina.
No,
No.
let's see.
It like greatly affected. Not Hurricane Sandy, maybe
Sandy was 2012.
2012. What was like 08, 07, 08? It'll come to me. Hurricane Rose,
Uh,
maybe? I don't know.
Katrina was 2005.
Then it probably was Katrina. We evacuated to Dallas for a while, and then when we came back, Sugarland and Houston was just destroyed. Like there were trees everywhere. It was a mess. Like this hurricane destroyed this freaking place. So we had no power for a long time, and we had two dogs, Nora and Nolan. And in order to keep the house cool, we would keep windows open so the air would circulate and all that stuff. So the dogs figured out we don't need to scratch on the door. I mean, we could just go in and out of the windows. Until I didn't catch on to this. I wasn't paying attention because I was out like cleaning up sticks and trees and all that kind of stuff. And I went in and we were about to go, and I shut the window, and Nolan, which was always the ditzier one, just
Yeah, it didn't sound like something Nora would do.
Yeah, Nolan just runs full start, takes a jumping, he jumps off the couch, and boom! I felt so bad. Oh my gosh, because he didn't even get hurt though. He didn't yelp or anything. He just took a step back, like, what the hell just happened?
Now he questions everything.
He had super, super short ears, so he was just like, you look at him and you just automatically think like, oh, poor thing, he's confused about everything. Oh gosh. But yeah, so that's, I don't know how we got here, but that was my Garfield story. Yeah, so Ghostbusters, looking forward to it. All right, so seeing
I know exactly what we're going to call this episode. What the H is Nyle talking about?
what the yeah. So for those of you listening to this later on and wondering what month it is, I will tell you what month it is.
So basically the first people to listen to it besides
Yes, this is the most wonderful time of year where people come together with a common feeling and they do things for each other and they're nice. Of course, I am talking about October, the month of screams. And to commemorate this fantastic month, I have a bit of news that made me very happy. And I'm going to say it right now. This is from 10news.com. And I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to bury the lead and just read it.
Nyle always finds the most credible of sites for you guys, so you know.
Don't you know 10 News has its own TV channel? It's on -3.
What
if
was,
you
what
have
was that what was that website that told you something about a dinosaur and you were just sold forever about it, and when I told you the truth you were sad forever?
Oh my god. Oh, I don't remember the name of the website. I wish I
You
did.
read it off of The Onion, I think, and I was like,
No, it
Nyle.
was something like The Onion. If it was, because I've heard of The Onion, I would read that and know that like, okay, I don't actually take this seriously. But I was on Facebook and it said, baby dinosaur egg hatches in Natural History
Right,
Museum
right.
after scientists copy the Jurassic Park method. No, and I'm like, well, this is plausible
And then
because
and then
no
later
one has
you
ever.
sent me a Skype message, and you're
Yeah,
like,
and I was like, it's
they call him a
finally
dinosaur.
happened.
And I was like, oh, I already read that. Mistake.
Because I'm
And
like,
you're just sad.
yeah, I
You were
was
just
so,
sad.
oh my god,
Yeah,
I was depressed because my mode of thinking was like, okay, it's just a movie. So if I was a scientist, I'm gonna think, okay, that's automatically fake. I'm not even gonna try. It's just a movie, right? And then someone's like, you know what? No, let's try this, and it works. And then we actually have like a real Jurassic Park, but like not terrible. Oh god, it would have been great, but no, it was fake. Anyway, going back to our root topic, I'm gonna go ahead and read it out. There's no way I can bury the lead here, so I'm just gonna read
We
the
don't talk
first.
about trees very often.
About what?
Trees.
Trees?
Root
We don't
topic.
we don't talk about trees very often. Was that just a random? Was that
You
just?
said root. You said root topic, and I made a pun about it very subtly. And your thick skull didn't let anything through.
I'm talking about this topic that I've been teasing forever, and all I hear is, "We don't talk about trees very often." In the most depressed.
I always liked that Whomping Willow in Harry Potter. That was cool.
That was pretty cool. Grab the card.
It was kind of creepy. It was creepy as hell, but it was cool.
Not as creepy as the Ents, but we'll go to trees in a
No,
second.
dude, I love the Ents. They
They
weren't
were.
creepy. They were awesome.
They scared the shit out of me when I was little. Strange
You were like
clowns.
tiny.
Strange clowns have begun roaming the streets of Wasco, California at night. People who live in Wasco have taken photos of the clowns who have been spotted all over the city in the middle of the night. No one seems to know why they're there or who is behind the appearances. City police says there has been no criminal activity linked to the clowns. People in the city have even turned the clowns into minor celebrities, seeking them out for photos every night. I love these people. That's
Let me talk. I wonder if this has anything to do with, like, is there going to be like a small circus coming through the town at some point soon or something like that? Are these guys from the circus? Is there a clown movie coming out and this is just some way to get publicity for it?
like-
Is there someone filming an independent movie involving clowns?
That would
And
be the best explanation, right? Like, what better way to advertise your indie movie than be like, hey, remember those clowns? That was my movie. It's coming out. Maybe some of y'all are in it. Go see it. But click on that link that I sent you, Tyrus, because I can't, because I'm recording and I don't have good software. But it's those pictures, like, those don't look like circus clowns. They
I know they're creepy. I saw them.
those clowns look like I'm gonna take your cat. And there's no criminal activity, so I'm gonna threaten to take your cat, but not really do anything. But these people are just,
What?
let's
Cat?
go out dressed as clowns in the middle of the night and just scare people. We're not gonna hurt them. We're not gonna murder them. That's not our thing. We're not gonna steal. We're just gonna be there. That's amazing. That's what Halloween's all about. The whole October. There should be more of this. There should be more. I demand more. Terrifying things that don't hurt people.
Every time you say words, it makes me think of something else that's completely unrelated.
I mean, that's
just how my brain works. Well, you said we'll just be there, and it made me think of the line "I'll be there," and that made me think of "Ain't no mountain high enough."
I'll be there.
Because I heard that song today, and I always forget about how the beginning is like so different from the end, where it goes into the victorious music, and like
Of Ain't No Valley High Enough?
ain't no mountain high enough, ain't no valley low. The beginning is a bit different. It's a bit slower.
Oh, yeah, but it's like, it goes right into, I listened to it recently. And
No, it takes it a while to get into the actual, end of Chicken Little aspect of it.
Huh. Well, maybe it's different, because I got it on the Awesome Mix Volume 1, the Guardians of the Galaxy soundtrack. And there's like 3 lines before it goes into the... I'm afraid to kind of sing.
No, I'm not talking about just the ain't no mountain high enough. I'm talking about the way at the end where it's the background singer is just saying that. The background singers are singing "Ain't No Mountain High Enough," and it's just and the main singer's just going, "Hey, hey, hey," it's like that, It's like
okay, I got it.
fun.
I got it. Yeah, kind of like how in the song we always play, the "And I Will Always Love You." Like the clip that I've played on our videos is the very last time she sings that. The very last chorus, because that's whenever it's just like you feel like she gets her whole soul up into a ball and just throws it at the microphone, and it's beautiful. And we use it for comedic purposes.
Dolly Parton was the original singer of that song.
That is true. That is true.
Sounds very different when she sings it.
Yeah. So yeah, clowns. If me and you were to do something like this, like we're just like, all right, we're gonna.
First off, how?
Well, we'll discuss that later. But if we're,
I don't think 2 random guys dressed up as whatever the hell,
well, if let's say like,
2,000 miles apart, really
let's
would
pretend.
institute any notice by anybody.
Let's pretend for a moment
Okay,
that
in
we
my
have
small
a
town,
fan base.
no. In
And
my small town where I'm at,
Mhm.
if I did that, people would notice, and plus they'd probably know it was me because I don't live in a very big town right now.
Hey, I
Whereas you do
saw an
that out in
alien the other day.
California, and you're just another dipshit in a costume.
I saw an alien the other day. It looked pretty creepy. It looked like old man Tyrus, did he not? Who's Tyrus? Don't worry about it.
That would be my
Oh.
saving grace. No one knows fucking Tyrus.
But let's pretend that we had a fan base that would like do whatever we say, and pretending that we wouldn't just completely
That is a power
abuse
that we
that
should
power.
never be bestowed with.
Yes. Because we do shit like this. We tell them, we want you all to dress up like a creepy blank and just stand some places. Not dangerous places. We don't want you. We don't want our fans standing in like dark alleyways and I'm getting stabbed and mugged. But
Feel
just
like things like that get people. What's the word? Starts with an A, ends with a D. Arrested. There you go.
Arrested? No. They get a apartheid.
That was a terrible thing that was going on in South Africa for like decades and decades.
Was
It was
that?
horrible.
Oh, then I got my vocabulary mixed
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Okay, I thought it was something completely different. I thought it was like awarded. That's the word I wanted to say, awarded. Why the hell? I took a history test today, and apartheid.
Apartheid was like segregation in the United States, but like more strict even.
How do I manage to accidentally be an asshole on every single episode of this podcast? It's just, it's so bad. I feel so bad. I'm so
Well, do you
sorry.
remember there was a movie about, it was called like The Color Purple or something, or The Color of
yeah,
Friendship?
that's what that's about.
That Disney Channel thing? Yeah, it was about.
I
Well,
don't
it was
think The
about
Color Purple
racial
was
problems, with whites and blacks, but it was also about how that was going on in South Africa.
Wow. Well,
That's also the first time I heard about the book Roots, which I still want to read.
Roots?
Yeah.
You ever heard about the TV show Roots?
Don't think it has much to do with it.
But I mean, still, it was just a later time. Good show. Shit, what were we talking? Okay, so if we had a fan base, so we could just tell them to do whatever, and minus the fact that they're gonna be arrested or awarded, either one, we don't know. We're gonna tell them to dress as a scary what? Your choice, and then I'll say my decision.
Yes, but when they hear this in November, who's gonna do it?
Save it for next year. Hey, these costumes take a long time to make, right? No one can just.
Handmade, no store bought.
No,
I bought
that's.
a Jedi robe once at like Party City or some place like that. It was like $30, and it doesn't even have a belt to tie it around your waist.
Like a brown.
There's no way to
bed
close
sheet.
it. It has a hood and the sleeves, and that's it. And it's like, this is bullcrap, and it's like completely see-through if you get close to it.
Excuse
I'm like,
me,
I guess
sir.
that's so it's
This
not
is not
hot,
a real
but-
Jedi robe. It doesn't even feel like it. Hey, guess what, kid? Star Wars ain't real. Get out of my store.
Probably 18. Was it 18? I might have been younger than that. I don't know.
That's terrible. I hate
Anyway.
that. That's why whenever I go to like Spirit and stuff like that, like I don't even mess around with like that stuff. 'Cause, like I look at it and I'm just like, I know this is, I can make this with scissors and the bed sheet. But whenever it comes to like the
I
masks,
used
I'm
it.
like,
But my wife, apparently, she made one herself years before, and it still fits her.
you just got one up.
And it was way better.
I used to make my costume. My mom, I used to help my mom make my costume. She, for a long time, like before Mario was a big thing, I really wanted to
You weren't
be.
Born before Mario was a big thing.
No,
sir.
Mario was a big thing, but Mario wasn't big as it is now. You go to a Halloween store, you'll find Mario and Luigi's costumes. When I was little, that wasn't a thing. You wouldn't find Mario
Well, that was
candy.
just the video game things weren't
the
really
aisle
big in
and-
costumes, period, back
Yeah,
then.
okay. Before video game things were okay. Now you know what I'm saying. Mom made me a really good Mario costume, and it was great because I was fat too. So it looked perfect on me, and I had
How
a
many
fake
people asked you
mustache.
to jump for them?
So many people. Not even
Fat
kidding.
little,
That's
fat
all
little
I
Nyle
remember.
tries to jump.
And I remember like I knew Mario by one thing. Woohoo! and that was it. I jump, woohoo! That's it. And then there was
Did you
here
at
we
least do the
go.
fist thing?
I don't know why there, but
Did you at least do the fist thing when you jumped?
I just did it just now in my demonstration of the jumping, and no one
I'm
saw
glad.
because this is a podcast.
No, I'm glad
Uh,
because if you just jumped up and down with your arms straight at your side, you would look like a dumbass. Saying woohoo.
this kid, what is this
It's
kid?
like 911. We got another one of them crazies going around.
Got another one of them crazies. He looks harmless. He doesn't even know how Mario jumps. Book 'em, boys. Yeah, I made that. A Robin Hood costume. One more that was made. A skeleton pirate. That was the first one that I made. And
So
that took the genius
this,
of buying a pirate costume and a skeleton costume and wearing them
this will
both.
probably make you happy, but I don't know if the fans probably don't know, but my wife and I are expecting our first kid, right? And so one of the first things,
Hey, party
the
sound
first piece of
effects.
yeah, the first the first piece of clothing we have purchased in preparation for the kid is a Halloween like onesie that says "Don't scare me, I poop easily."
Yeah. Good job. Now that's great. That's great. Well, everybody.
She thought it was cute, and so I was like, "Fine."
That's adorable. So many. I like looking at baby shirts. There's so many that are just so funny, but just so wrong. Like,
Well, we don't know the gender yet, so it's hard to
well,
pick.
yeah.
But I made sure we got something that would be, the baby's coming in like March, so the baby would be that size in November, October, around this time. And so we didn't get something that was newborn size. We got something that's bigger. It was $2 at the time, so.
Oh, that's cool. like I approve. Oh, well, I guess it's okay then. But seriously, man, congratulations again, and we're all looking forward to little baby Tyrus walking around yelling at me as soon as it knows how to talk.
Well, you've seen how much luck we've had with your little sister trying to talk to people over Skype. It doesn't work yet.
No. Does not work. Eats the microphone.
No, that
Loves
was
it.
Nana.
Well, yeah, she does too. I'm gonna see
She goes like this. This is just a sound demonstration for people.
Tyrus is like, is she licking the microphone again? Yep. I'm seeing. We got an update from the girl who has Tyrus, the girl who has Nana right now, and she's like, yeah, there's only a few things. She barks a lot, but we have a trainer working on that, and every now and then she comes up and she puts her neck on my mouth. And
Did she say that?
yeah, she said that, and I was like, I told her about Ubba Bubba too. I guess she just wasn't thinking about my dog. She well, what used to be my dog. She used to put her neck on anyone's mouth, and you're supposed to hum and go like whoa 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 whoa, because the vibrations, I guess, like it was a dog thing. I don't know. I don't want to go read into it why
I
she
think you
liked
probably
it.
did it once or twice when she was a little puppy, and she got addicted to it.
No, the story is Mom took her to work with her one day at Keith's house whenever she worked for Keith. And driving back, Miley Cyrus's Party in the USA was playing, and Mom was singing and loving on Nana at the same time. And Ubba Bubba accidentally happened when Nana's neck went on.
Love for Miley Cyrus
Yep.
and deep vibrations. That's really weird.
It sparked the Ubba Bubba that.
She would shove herself into your face while we were recording so many times.
I bet if you go listen to it, there's so many times like, oh yeah, we'll give it a Nana, no.
Oh, she's insane.
Yeah, she is. I'm glad she's happy though. She's been doing good. She sleeps in the bed with her, so she's not like in a cage somewhere. It's just like sucks. We had to get rid of her. I wish I still had her. I miss her deeply, but at least we know she's happy. You know what I mean? That's all I ask. So yeah, going right back, I would want them to dress up as terrifying 6-foot woodland critters. Bunnies,
So
squirrels.
giant squirrels and bunnies and
Yeah, but with like blood and like beady, bloodshot eyes and just.
no, better yet, instead of blood and beady bloodshot eyes, giant anime eyes and the creepiest grins you can think of.
Oh my gosh, yes. No blood necessary. Just
Exactly.
stalking them down. and they all have to
We're talking
learn a
Happy Tree
song that we
Friends.
write. What?
Happy Tree Friends. That's what we've.
Is
That's
that
what we're going for.
is that what we've accidentally reinvented just now? Everybody dress up like
I don't
Happy
think
Tree
it ever
Friends,
died.
but don't say you're dressing up as Happy Tree Friends. Just say it was our idea. That one on TV. That aired.
Yeah, well, that was actually the first place I saw it.
Really?
It was
I
on like
saw it.
G4 or Comedy Central or something.
I remember watching.
So, oh yeah, when you're done.
Do you remember the I still hate saying that name, but retarded animal babies. Do you remember those?
Yes.
There was like 12, and they were hilarious. I showed my friend one of those, and he wasn't my friend for long because I didn't know him for too long. But he was like, "Oh, you think that's funny?" And then he showed me Happy Tree Friends, and with a name like Happy Tree Friends in the picture, I'm thinking like, okay, they're gonna walk around, they're gonna cuss or something like that, and it's gonna be like a Joe cartoon kind of thing, and yeah, it's like no murder, tons of it, blood everywhere, scarring. I felt uneasy for a week, and I was so young at this point
Well, so
that
I can't
yeah.
rewatch that one meow meow video.
Oh, the
The one with the
zombie
music.
zombie
Uh,
cat with the
that freaks me crap out every time, and I don't know why.
Cyronix,
Cyrex.
Syriax,
Cyrex.
Cyrix. It's one
Or
of those.
Cyrex.
I love that guy, but he scares the shit out of me. There's one.
Exactly.
There's one called Spiders, and I can't. Not because I'm afraid of spiders, but it's just like
I don't even want to see that one. I know the cow one.
the cow one was entertaining a little bit, but still, you know what? Everything he does is terrifying. Let's just go ahead and put that down. Everything he does scars me. Good job to you, sir.
You think you can handle it? You think you're ready for it? You are not.
There's gonna be a whole
Nile
bunch of people.
goes out in his free time and watches Mexican horror movies for whatever reason, and he can't handle the crap.
Can I tell that story?
Well, I was gonna say something first.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, you know how I haven't. Before we met, I hadn't watched even like a single horror movie really.
Yeah.
And so for me, October was just awesome because AMC would do the whole month of just showing movies. Pet Cemetery, Nightmare on Elm Street, all that good stuff. Friday the 13th, I actually saw like those are the only ones I really watched much of.
Really?
But I saw 1 and 2 of Pet Cemetery, and I saw these were all like the TV edits.
Hold
so
on a second. I'm gonna let you finish this, but I have a very important question that I'm almost positive I've asked you before. Have you seen Nightmare on Elm Street?
no.
Original? No.
I said Nightmare on Elm Street, but I meant like Friday the 13th. I saw 2 and 4 of Friday the 13th. I think.
Ooh. Two's good.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I saw Pet Cemetery 1 and 2, and those were both kind of fun.
I forgot all about 2, but I remember I love Pet Cemetery 1 because of Judd. You don't want to go down that road. Down that road, that's the Pet Cemetery. Yeah. Right, that's what's down that road.
But they creeped me a lot.
Yeah, you're gonna creep you
Yeah,
out
but
when you go down that road. That's the road where everything is creepy. Okay, I'm sorry. Continue with your story.
What's that new movie? Why does that remind me? There's that new movie coming out with Robert Downey Jr. and
And that guy who's probably
Robert Duvall.
Robert Downey Jr. and oh yeah, the judge.
Robert Duvall, the other guy.
That looks
Yeah.
great. That looks
does
so
look really
good.
interesting.
I don't know why that voice made you think of that, but
Well,
anyways, what we've learned so far before you continue your story is me and you are watching Nightmare on Elm Street together. Continue on with your story.
I don't know. It was fun, and I kind of miss it, so that I don't have cable anymore.
Just like the movie marathons and all that stuff. Yeah, that was like
Well,
the
just
highlight.
having that to turn on, and it was fun.
Uh-huh.
You never knew what was going to be on and stuff.
Mhm.
It was fun.
I remember one October where I would always go to my dad's, and I spent entire days watching TV, completely entertained. That doesn't happen anymore. Because, like,
Well,
old
when you're
Cartoon Network
little-
for me...
When you're little, Yeah, it's easy to
Yeah.
do that. I could
Yeah.
easily watch TV for like 3 days if
But
anyone
now
would
it's just like
pay attention.
old Cartoon Network for me is different than old Cartoon Network for you. But old Cartoon Network for me is Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy, Ed, Ed and Eddie, um, 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 what's the name of that one? Camp Lazlo.
I hated that. I didn't even give it a chance. I didn't want to watch it.
I liked
Every
it.
time it came on, I changed the channel.
I hated Teen Titans, which seems like something I'd kind of be into
Well, see,
now.
by
but
that point, I would
hated
only
Teen
see
Titans.
that show would be on whenever I'd be like sick from home from school, and I was already a teenager by that point. And it's like, oh, this is just all sucky now.
Yeah, this is just terrible.
Then I got into sitcoms when I was at college. When I'd come home for the middle of the day before my evening classes,
Mhm.
I'd go
Nick at Night.
and I'd watch not Nick at Night. It was be in the middle of the day, so it would
Oh,
be
yeah.
like Everybody Loves Raymond and stuff like that. And
I
it was
love
like,
that show
this is
so
fun.
much. Yeah, Nick at Night.
Everybody Loves
introduced me-
Raymond. Yes, dear.
No, not
Love
too
that
familiar
series,
with
yeah.
that one.
It wasn't too bad. I liked it.
One I always wanted to go back and give like an actual try is King of Queens with Kevin James.
Is this just because it has Kevin James in it?
Yes. And I always want to see like
You're obsessed with that, man.
Kevin James,
Is Kevin James or the other guy? Who's the guy with the podcast?
Kevin Smith.
Okay. Oh, I'm so far off. They're both named Kevin, and
Hefty with beards. Yes, they are both aware that they are compared to each other. I'm sure of it.
I'm glad.
But yeah, I'm kind of mad about. I'm mad at Kevin James because of Grown Ups too. Honestly, like I after hearing what everyone said about that,
Yeah. Okay.
after hearing what everyone said about it, and it winning worst movie of the year, I was always like, oh, they're exaggerating. I like Adam Sandler. I like Happy Gilmore. I love Anger Management. I watched Billy Madison whenever I was younger, and I still love it now. I haven't seen it in a very long time, and I'm probably still like it. I can't speak for him right now, but still, I like Adam Sandler. He's done some great movies. I'll rewatch Click. Not that good anymore, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember it being all that great.
Grown Ups 2 was the hardest movie I've ever forced myself to sit through. I really I don't see many movies where I not only don't care how it ends, I never walk out of movies. Even if I don't like it, even like the Spanish horror movie I saw, Más Negro que la Noche. Yes, I memorized the title. Be proud of me. That movie was bad. And I was actually expecting it to be good because like the foreign horror movies that I've seen are way better than like American horror movies. This movie was just an American horror movie in Spanish with Spanish
did you
actors and all that stuff. And
Did it have subtitles or something?
Yes, it did.
Okay, I was wondering how you watched it because you don't know Spanish.
I don't.
Well,
But
to any degree.
I know how to say Más Negro que la Noche.
Let me darker
Wait.
than the night.
Yes, it does. Yeah, it was. So here's pretty much the premise. There's 5 girls, 5 semi-attractive girls. They're all best friends. And by the way, I can't believe I'm gonna say spoilers for Más Negro que la Noche.
What was that? What was that movie? What was that movie where it was like a video game horror movie where if you died in the video game, you died in the real life in the same way?
Ooh, that movie. I know what you're talking about. Oh, I don't mean to JonTron right now, but ooh, I know it. It starts with an A. It's
Does it?
Yes, it does. Oh my gosh. It's not Game Over. It's not. It's like.
You sure it's not Game Over?
No. The name of the movie was the name of the game in the movie. You know what I mean? Afterlife or something like that. Commenters, all -3 of you.
No. I'm looking for Stay Alive.
Yes, there it is. Stay Alive. Oh my gosh, I hope that movie is just as good as I remember it being, because that was just when I started
I
playing
kind of want to watch it again
horror
sometime.
games. That was just when I started playing horror games like Fatal Frame and Silent Hill and all that stuff, and I was in love with them. And then that movie came on, I was like, oh my gosh, this changed the game. I really hope it's good.
It's let's see. Rotten Tomatoes gives it a 55% fresh under their user rating
Mhm.
and 9% under their critic rating.
Not. I mean, well, I kind of have a grudge against Rotten Tomatoes because most movies that I like, they hate. Like Kevin Smith Tusk, that was
It has a
beautiful,
2.5
perfect.
out of 5
But-
on IMDb.
2.5 out of 5. Oh my god. Then maybe it's not that good.
A 24 Metascore and
A
a
lot
5
of
out
people
of 10.
have to vote on that. I don't know. I'm still gonna hold whatever.
23,000 votes, 5 out of 10.
23,000 votes, 5 out of 10. Okay, good enough for me. Halfway, right? That's still entertaining. It's in focus. If I made a movie and I got 5 out of 10 on IMDb, I'd be stoked. I'd want to do better, but I'd still be stoked. Because, like I said,
I like how some of the reviews are
Least it's in
talking about
focus.
how it's a pointless movie, and it's like,
isn't every
most
movie good?
movies are pointless.
Yeah.
It could be good. I don't know if it's any good. Now,
so-
I haven't seen it since
List
the
of
first time
movies
I
we're
saw
seeing
it.
this month. I'm sure the movies are the list is much
Citizen
bigger than
Kane,
this. Citizen Kane.
Fellowship
Um,
Potemkin, which I've seen, and it is actually really good.
What'd you
It's
just
a
say?
silent film with subtitles and just music, so if you don't like that kind of thing, Tough Cookies, it's one of the best films of all time.
Yeah. Tough cookies. Yes. Only the hardiest of men cast you with the curse of tough cookies. It's like
Well, I never liked Chips Ahoy's.
don't justify it, Tyrus. Own it. Own it up. You're a dirty sailor. Someone comes up on your boat. They're like, "Hey, you gotta get off this boat." And they're like,
on the book.
"You don't own this boat. I own this boat." Well, tough cookies. Anyways, Citizen Kane, that movie, The Party, Nightmare on Elm Street, Stay Alive, Halloween 1. I'm making you see that.
Hey, Halloween 1 is...
The
Is that
John
the one with
Carpenter
the-
version, not the Rob Zombie version. I wouldn't do that to you.
Is that the Mike Myers with the guy with the hockey mask?
No,
That's Friday the 13th.
Mike Myers has the dyed white William Shatner mask.
Right.
Yeah.
No.
Did you know that was a William Shatner mask?
No, I'm talking... Which is the one where there's the guy who like had some shaman ritual performed on him, and so it's really hard to kill. And he like tries to kill his his niece and his sister and all them.
The hell?
that
Mike
Friday the 13th?
Myers. Neither Freddy, Jason, nor Michael Myers has had a shaman ritual. Chucky.
No, you don't see the shaman ritual. It's just that's the explanation for why he's so hard to kill.
There is no explanation for why Myers or Jason is so hard to kill, besides the fact that they're just zombies. At least I don't think. I haven't seen all of the Halloween, but I have seen all of Friday the 13th.
Which one's Jason? Which one's Mike?
Jason has the hockey mask and the machete. Michael Myers has...
That's Halloween.
No, that's Friday the 13th.
Okay, Friday the 13th is the one I've seen.
Michael Myers is Halloween with the white mask,
I haven't seen any of those then.
the mechanic's outfit, and the butcher knife. Nightmare on Elm Street, I'm sure everyone, even if they hate horror, knows who Nightmare on Elm Street is, and that is...
Freddy.
There you go. So yeah,
What was the one where Freddy was in space?
Jason went to space. If Freddy went to space, I would love my life 20 times more than I do right now. But Jason did... Jason, why does Jason go to space? Well, Tyrus, I'll tell you. He gets killed after going to New York. I could be wrong on the timeline thing. I haven't seen this since.
Well,
like,
from what I understand, the way he came back was some sort of Native American thing. That's why I called it a shaman thing, because they shaman, the wise man, that kind of guy.
maybe it
how
was
he
a
came
dropped
back.
line, but it's never been like.
It's what I read
I've
on
never heard
the
that.
Like I read all this information about the series after I saw the first movie I saw of it.
Well,
and it was in that.
for whatever reason, he comes back and he goes to like a space station where they're about to take off or something like that. And then he tries to attack a girl in a next to like a freezing room, like a cryogenic freezing room,
Uh huh.
and he gets locked in there.
Like in Resident Evil 4.
Yeah. And he gets locked in there, and then he goes into the future. And in the future,
Good.
yeah, right. And in the future, he goes up into space because he stumbles onto a spaceship that rockets off to space. And then it's pretty much like aliens.
Maybe Halloween is the one I've seen.
Are you looking at Michael Myers and be like, oh, I remember having nightmares about that? Yeah, but Michael, like the Nightmare on Elm Street is the kind of horror that you watch with a sick grin on your face. Like it's kind of tongue-in-cheek humor on some parts. It is scary, but it's like you're having a good time. Halloween is just it's just scary. Honestly, like for horror people and love slasher films, like you have a great time watching them. Like I love slasher films, but for the people who aren't watching it thinking like, oh, this is a slasher film, they're just watching it like this is just a movie. And what kind of movie is it? It's terrifying. Um, Same with the first couple of Friday the 13th. Then they all kind of go into the stop taking itself so seriously route.
Yeah.
The only one that I know, like, the first Chainsaw Massacre I've talked about is just terrifying, and the second one, they just dropped it and was like, second one or third one, it's straight comedy. The most ridiculous thing I've ever seen in my entire
Chainsaw
life.
Massacre, or are you talking about the things with Ash?
No,
Evil Dead.
Well, that's one the third one, but I'm talking about Chainsaw Massacre. The second one is a
Why?
pure black comedy.
I've already discussed with you how much I don't care for that series.
Well, I know, but I'm not
You
talking
always
about.
bring it up.
I'm not talking about the first one because it's one of the greatest horror movies ever made. I'm not talking about the subject matter, but I'm talking about the actual movie itself. But yeah, the one with there's one with Matthew McConaughey, and he plays a redneck. I don't even think like many people even die in that one. It's just Matthew McConaughey acting like a crazy person in the most hilarious way possible. Funniest acting I've ever seen. Now, Evil Dead. That's one
That's a fun series.
that
I
yes.
still need to see the third one.
Oh my gosh, like the fun hasn't even started yet. Well, I mean, yes, it has. The second one was great. The first one was actually like I love the Evil Dead so much because it's one of those I can do that kind of
Okay,
inspirational.
so it was the Halloween
things.
series was the one where Mike had some sort of thing,
Some
and he
sort of
wanted to
ritual.
kill his niece or something.
I mean, Halloween is the one that I followed the least. Honestly, I've seen not all of the movies, but the first year I didn't trick or treat. I spent watching all the Friday the 13th movies because throughout my entire life I've already seen every Nightmare on Elm Street movie like 3 times. So I was just like, you know what, let me go ahead and give the other team a shot. And now that Aubrey's born, I have something to do on Halloween again too, which don't I sound like just a partying happening teen? um So yeah, as soon as I get some like a couple weeks of free time, I'll watch all of the Halloween series. I'll watch the first one with you, and if after that you're like I can't do this anymore, then I'll be like okay, I'll go on without you. But yeah, you're gonna like Nightmare on Elm Street. You are. I'm trying to think back. There's not many stuff that you really don't like in a movie. There's really not. And there is, it lasts like 4 or 5 seconds before something hilarious happens. Yeah, I think you'll like that series. That'll probably be your favorite. Aside from Evil Dead, because you seem to really like that one.
It was funny.
I had another topic lined up, but I dropped it. Oh yeah! Mas Negro que la Noche.
Yeah, you were talking about how it was 5 girls and
Yeah, five pretty attractive girls. One of them inherits a mansion when her aunt dies. So she leaves her everything that the aunt owned. Now, so they all move in with there. I think there was only one guy. No, there were two guys. One of them was the girl's boyfriend who inherited everything, and then another one was just one of the other girl's boyfriends. So they get there, and they're really rude to this maid because she's kind of creepy, but she's the sweetest girl. Like, she's just so sweet. I felt so bad. Even though she's creepy and, like, the movie's trying to tell you, like, there's
mm-hmm.
something wrong with her, I'm like, she's just the sweetest old lady. Making them sandwiches and showing them around
Love
the
sweet little old
house.
ladies.
And, yeah, it's just like, I can't be afraid of you. You're just adorable. Um, and they're all like the most disrespectful, rude little girls. They're like in their 20s, so they're like the most disrespectful, rude girls that I've ever seen in a movie in a long time. Um, so I'll just jump straight to like creepy stuff that starts happening. One of the girls brings over a ferret, and she keeps the pet ferret in one of their rooms. And there's a cat that they got into a little fight, the ferret and the cat. And then the girl is just like super uber overprotective over that ferret anymore, like always holding it around, just insulting the cat at every possible chance she gets to put that poor cat down. I mean, like, they're gonna fight. You know, the cat doesn't know what that is. So they decide what's the best way to be respectful and, honor my aunt's great manor that is really, really old. They die. We'll throw a big ass rave party in it. Invite 50,000 people, and we'll have them all come over. Just you just take whatever you want. It's free. That. Oh god, it was so stupid. So everyone comes over. And this one girl gets drunk. The girl who's fair. Oh, I'm sorry. I skipped one part. She wakes up one morning, goes to get breakfast, and the ferret comes down and is all bloody. And then she's like, "Oh my god, what happened?" Immediately starts blaming the cat. I mean, which I guess is kind of reasonable. But I mean, at that point, like, what would you do? Like, cat killed your ferret, not your cat.
Okay.
You're in a mansion that your friend inherited. You don't want to be rude, like, you're going to be pissed and maybe, pretty depressed, but what would your initial reaction be
If a cat died,
if a cat killed your ferret in a mansion that your friend owns?
I
With the
think
creepy
I
but
would
adorable.
keep the cat.
Keep the cat? Well,
I've never had a pet ferret, and I've always wanted a pet cat. I don't know. How long did I have the ferret?
like a few years. Well, let me tell you what this girl does. She gets drunk at the party, and then she goes and she finds the cat. And she starts petting it and saying, like, "Oh, I understand, it's because you're jealous," and all that stuff. And this next scene that they did, it's like the only scene that managed to disturb me. She drowns the cat, like, angrily, for something that, like, happened in, like, I don't know. I guess I just can't relate to that. Like, I can't. Even if it was like Nana and a cat killed Nana, I'm not gonna kill the cat. That doesn't make any sense. But there's a reason for why she did what she did. It's all explained later on and all that stuff. So, every now and then they would just cut to a bloody ghost that screams and no one notices it. Just to remind you that it's a horror movie. You know what I mean? And I'm seeing this in a theater, by the way, all by myself. One old guy who looked like 90 came in 20 minutes late, sat down for like 30 minutes, and then he left. But I was the only person in this theater. So what wound up
He
happening?
just comes in. He's like, "Hey, I'm
Yeah.
just gonna be here to annoy you."
No, he
And I
was
bet you couldn't focus completely on the movie for the whole time he was there, just because you kept like he hadn't been there, and so now it was just different.
exactly, yeah. And I kept looking. I was like, "Why is he?"
That's when I saw.
here,
That's like when I saw Rugrats in Paris, and we were the only ones in the theater.
My favorite seat in the theater, back row directly under the projector. Best seat in the house. That way
That's
you
pretty
could
good.
see all the audience reactions and you can see the movie perfectly without having to break your neck or anything like that. So, and this guy sat in the very, very front. And there was one time wherever like I was eating nachos and it was like the only thing I had and I like crunched and he slowly turns around and looks at me. And he looks at me for like 5 seconds. And I do that thing
Oh,
where
that was weird.
I'm in mid chew and my body just pauses and I'm still holding a chip to my mouth which is open and I'm just staring back because I don't know. I just noticed he's looking so like. Hey. So then he turns back around, and like 10 minutes later he leaves, and I start getting worried, and I'm like, okay, is the team behind Mas Negro Killa Norte here to pull some sort of um, advertising prank on me? Are the ghosts gonna come flooding in? Because I'm ready for that shit. You know, that'd be great, but no. He just kind of gets up and leaves me alone in a theater, cold, terrified, with my nachos, which are also getting cold, which is always a bad thing. No one likes cold nachos.
They always get cold because, especially if you don't want to eat them all before like halfway through the film,
Right,
or if you're in a really really cold theater.
and I ordered
That's why I never order
I
nachos at
ordered
the
extra
theater.
cheese, and I was thinking she's gonna like put it in a cup. She puts them all over the nachos. And you know
And
what
like,
happens? And you know what happens whenever you get the hot cheese on the nachos and you don't eat the nachos right away, right? Lose the crunch to get all saggy. Wait,
Yes, so saggy.
my voice went my voice went east there for a second. I'm sorry about that. Um, the chips get all the chips get all nacho. The nachos get all soggy, and it's just like, yeah, it's terrible. But, so turns out at the end of the movie, of course, the ghost of the aunt is haunting the place and wants to kill all the friends and does, even the one that I really really liked, who was like, there was one girl that like the main girl, her husband cheated on her, and she like turned over to the other girl who did it and she was like, all right, listen, either you're gonna tell her or I'm gonna do it for you. I'm just giving you a chance to do what's right, because she really really cared about the main character. They were best friends. It was kind of hinted that she was in love with her, but she just didn't want to say anything. And I was, you know, I kind of felt bad for her about that too. And I really liked this character. I wanted everything to work out good for her, but no. The movie just flipped me off and said, no, we're gonna kill her too. And the last shot is of her dead body. And I'm like, well, thanks. Thank you for establishing 4 people I don't give a shit about and killing the only one that I do, as well as the other ones. And the ghost puts her soul into the girl that owned the house, and there's a new cat because the cat's soul can jump cats apparently.
Yes.
And these people, this family, the old lady, the aunt, and the cat have been living forever because their soul can just jump from body to body to body. It's not explained why, but that's the end. There you go. That's Mas Negro que la Noche.
Well, I found
That
out.
movie's a remake, by the way. So I have to go see another Mas Negro que la Noche in order to actually. Maybe that one's better. I mean, I'm banking on it, but
Who knows?
yeah.
So I found out. I found what I'd been talking about, and apparently Mike Myers was part of some cult, some druidic cult called the Cult of the Thorn.
How the fuck? What?
Right. This is all explained in the 6th movie.
Oh,
So
of course.
It takes quite a while to get there.
Tyrus, do you know how young Michael was before he became like Michael? Essentially, Michael killed his family, got put
he killed
into
his sister.
his mother, and
Well, the first thing he did was kill his sister
Right.
after he had like nightmares, and then he went outside and waited for the police to come and get him.
well, yeah, maybe I'm just thinking of the Rob Zombie movie where he did kill his entire family. But yeah, he killed his
You're talking about the 2007 remake.
Yeah, which, I mean, first one was good, second one was bad. Not even the director liked the second one. He didn't even want to do it. So Michael kills either his family or just his sister, and then he goes into the care of Dr. Loomis at the psychiatric ward, and he stays there until he's
For
big,
15 years, yeah.
15 years, and then he breaks out, and then he starts killing people again as Michael Myers. That's it. So, that what you just told me means that he was a part of the cult when he was like 6 or 7, which is kind of hilarious to me, honestly. Doesn't it take? What was it called?
Hmm?
What was the name of the
The
cult thing?
Cult of the Thorn.
Cult of the Thorn.
It's supposed to be the reason of why he has super strength and shit.
I mean, it would make more sense if Michael like stumbled
Well, no,
into
no,
the
no, no.
place.
It says that he's part of a family. His family, their ancestors or whatever, one of their grandfathers or whatever, were members of this cult. And for the cult to not be destroyed to not like all die on Halloween, one of the families in the cult has to have one of their members kill all the other members of their family.
That is so stupid.
It's a horror movie.
No, it doesn't have to be stupid like that, though. They went 5 movies without that bullshit. Why did you need... Oh, I'm looking forward to that one. I'm looking forward to that one. Oh, yeah. All the origin stories of all the slasher people are fairly interesting. I like Freddy's. Because, like, you really hate him before he's Freddy. And you're supposed to hate him more after he's Freddy. But you kind of grow to love him. You'll understand why whenever I show it to you. But in the remake, they make him a pedophile. Like a child molesting pedophile murderer.
Gag.
You can't like that. Like, what the hell? Like, I went in there, like... There are people in there like dressed as Freddy, wearing an I Love Freddy shirt. Do you understand how awkward they felt walking out? Like, oh my gosh. But in the original, he's like, yeah, he's a killer. And I think like it was kind of toyed with that they were thinking about making him a molester, but then Wes Craven was like, no, that's unidentifiable and that's stupid. Which was a good call. Jason was bullied and drowned because he...
Yeah, no, I saw that. That's terrible.
Yeah. So I feel bad for him.
Why is his head no longer shaped like that?
Because continuity errors. Michael, we just discussed. Apparently it was a cult. He wasn't just a messed up kid, which is so much scarier. Ghostface, many different people. Spoilers. And one more. I'm forgetting. Yeah, that's all the I think that's all the horror movies talk that we have. I think that's also do we have anything else for this episode? This year's episode?
I think we're this year's episode. Yeah, no more episodes today.
Yeah. All right. Well,
Fuck is that?
We can't end on that.
I've dove into the weirdness that is the Halloween series.
Oh my gosh!
I'm
Really?
looking at stuff from the remake, and it's just really weird. Like, there's this picture where it looks like he and his mother are at a disco, and she's in a wedding dress. He's wearing his clown costume, and she's got like Stevie Wonder sunglasses on at the same time, and there's all these sprinkly lights. But it doesn't make any sense.
Like I said,
I am sorry that you saw the 2007.
not even Rob Zombie liked the second one.
Oh my goodness, it makes no sense.
I like the first one. Like most Rob Zombie movies, they went a little bit too far sometimes with the violence, but I mean, he came out of retirement. All right, this will be the last thing we talk about. Rob Zombie recently came out of retirement. He's making a movie called 31. I'm really excited for this movie because it seems like the most messed up and most terrifying thing that he's ever gonna make. The last one he made was Lords of Salem. I hated it. Absolutely hated it. I thought it was the worst thing that anyone has ever made, ever, because not only was it very boring, I thought it was all leading up to something. And the second I thought it was going to lead up to something, it ends. You know what I mean? I'm not going to describe the last scene to you.
Well, it's kind of how I felt about the end of, did you see 9?
No.
That Tim Burton, it was a CGI.
Yeah. But hold on, let me get on this.
It felt similar.
I'm not gonna describe to you the last scene, because it disturbed me on a deep level, and I'm sure it'll do the same thing to you sevenfold. So I'll spare you from that. But pretty much, it was a bunch of very, very disturbing imagery, and then it ends. And the reason why he didn't even want to make Halloween 2 was he was forced to do it by the studio. I forgot which, but the studio promised to finance Lords of Salem if he made Halloween 2. And Lords of Salem was supposed to be his magnum opus, his saving grace. He's been wanting to make that movie like his whole life, which is why I'm so sad, and it sucks that it was terrible. But after that, and the critics said pretty much everything that I've just said, he was like, you know what, I'm done giving to the horror community. Why even try? I give and I give and I give, and what do I get back? A bunch of whiny reviews and all that stuff. I'm putting down the director's cap forever. I'm done. So like 3 years later, he comes back out of retirement.
Yeah.
And he's making a movie called 31, which is about, it's an arena pretty much, where these killer clowns kidnap 4 or 5 different people. It's kind of like Hunger Games, pretty much. A really, really messed up Hunger Games. Which, when you think about it, is how Hunger Games should be. Really, really messed up, because it's what it is. Hunger Games shouldn't be PG-13, that's all I'm saying. But I'm glad that there is a smart girls Twilight out there. So,
yeah,
so,
I agree with that. Did you see Divergent?
Yes.
I liked that. That was
I
really
did
good.
too. I did. There was a lot of plot holes, and it was like very reminiscent of Hunger Games 2. Like, but it was just, it entertained the hell out of me, and I didn't like where it ended. I kind of wish that it kind of like, I don't know. Maybe there'll be a sequel. Of course there's gonna be a sequel. Look what year we're in. So they kidnap these people, 4 or 5 or 6 or whatever. And they put them in this big warehouse filled with presumably more crazy people. And you have to survive 24 hours on October 30th. If you make it to Halloween, you can get out. But everyone's trying to kill you. And you have to kill to survive. So, I mean, when you take that and you put that in the hands of like some other random horror director like Wes Craven or hell even James Wan. James Wan doesn't do gory films. James Wan does great movies, but he doesn't do gory movies. He does he did Insidious and not Annabelle. Annabelle was actually done by James Wan, cinematographer, and if you didn't know that, you would totally think it's a James Wan movie. Annabelle just reeks of James Wan, and that's probably why it's like why I really liked it. Like there was it didn't have a lot of originality, but it was still really good. It was kind of like a best hits of horror, kind of. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah, of course.
all done pretty well. So, anyways, yeah, 31 I am looking forward to. And before I go ranting on more, I'm gonna say that this has been Tyrus&Nao Live. I'm Nao.
And I'm Tyrus. We should be doing some more of these this month. Halloween's a great time of year for us. So we'll see you guys next time. Bye.
And hopefully next time we'll have some reviews on some of the movies that we've been talking about. So have a great one, guys.